Hannah Kesler.
This gal started her own bank at the age of 18, and then you became a self-made millionaire by the age of 24?
I did.
Hannah Kesler is a money mentor.
She's known as the single millionaire chick.
With advice on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck.
Money. It starts with your mindset.
How you think about your money is going to greatly impact how much money that you have.
I grew up in a town called Olathe, Kansas. I'd be walking out of the door, going to school, and my mama would holler at me, "Hannah, make good choices." And I'd have to holler back, "Because the choices I make today will affect my future."
My parents, they did a very good job about teaching me as a child how to handle my money. We have a lack of understanding when it comes to money.
If you want your kids to have money, you need to start talking to them about it while they're young.
I'm really second generation to this concept that's called the infinite banking concept.
And at 18 years old, my dad gave me the choice to start my own bank that then led me to becoming a millionaire by the time I was 24.
Now you've written a book to help tie it all together.
So the companion is really just teaching kids that, not specifically money, but really important life lessons.
Now being the owner of the Money Multiplier, I help serve over 17,000 clients in every state of the country.
Where can people get the book?
HannahKesler.com. Hannah spelled the same way forwards and backwards, Kesler with one S.
Also, I got my podcast show, the Money Multiplier Podcast.
And make good choices today, because the choices you make today will affect your future. Hello and good morning. All right, if I'm being honest, I'm a little sleepy today. Are y'all feeling it too? I'm a little sleepy. It's a gloomy day in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I'm feeling it. So come and join me, grab your coffee. Let's wake up this morning and shake up our wealth. Now, let's talk about something that happened. I think it was just yesterday, right? Did y'all see the Dr. Fauci interview and all of the clips? Kind of crazy, right? It honestly kind of pissed me off too when I was thinking about it. And it's just like, okay, what else is the government lying to us about? We kind of know this. We know this as the general public, but what are you doing about it? What are you doing to take control of your life, whether it is your health or your wealth? And specifically, because this is a money show, Money Mornings with Hannah, I'm here 9 a.m. Eastern time every Thursday. But what can I do to start taking back the control over my life instead of having other people dictate to do and say what I'm going to do or say? So that's what this whole infinite banking concept is about, is how can I control my wealth and my financial life so that nobody else is controlling me and I have the autonomy over myself to do what I want when I want. So anyways, I kind of was a little pissy yesterday after seeing everything, but what's new? So Gen Z millennials, hi, I'm in your generation with y'all. What are we going to do about it? Maybe we need to start having some monthly meetings together. All right, no, but good morning. So today's topic, we're going to get into 5 money habits that are keeping you broke, whether you realize it or not. And a lot of this is a lot of our mindset. First of all, I think with our wealth, it has to do with 70% of how we think about our money, because how we think about our money is going to greatly impact how much money that we have. And then the 30% is really habits, but habits come from thinking, because once you have a thought, then you start to move in that manner, and then you start to create the habit, and now the habit equals the results. But also, too, the other 30% really comes from what you are doing with your money and how you are actively moving with it. All right, before we get in here, I see some comments coming in. Oh, my friend Dexter, good to see you. Happy morning to you. Misty, good morning. I want to know, is it rainy over there, too, on the west side of Florida? And then, hello. This might be Ben. Is this Mr. Ben? Chime in if this is Mr. Ben. All right, and Josh, good morning. He's saying it's gloomy and rainy here in New York too, but the sun will come out again. Yeah, over here in Florida, we always get those afternoon showers for sure too. But today it seems like it's going to be gloomy all day. We'll see. We'll see. I want to get outside. Actually, later today, I'm going to dinner with somebody that I met in Orlando. So Monday evening, I drove over to Orlando and there was a group of women real estate investors. That's cool. Okay. I noticed that the energy is just different in the room when it's my women only event. So I met some friends, met some girly pops. We're going to go to dinner tonight. And then there's another real estate meetup over in DeBary, Florida. So I'm going to go and check it out, see what they're talking about this evening. And Fern, good morning to you. All right, let's get into number one. All right, bullet point number one, 5 money hacks, 5 money habits that are keeping you broke. Number one, every dollar already has a job before you get it. AKA pay yourself first. Okay, we've all been taught to pay ourselves first, but do we actually do it? And here's what I mean, because I don't even know you, but I know how you handle your money. What you do is you go work for the money and it comes in. And once you get the money, it already has a specific job. You have your mortgage payment or your rent payment. You have the taxes. You have your car payment. You have the insurance, the utilities, the student loans, the credit cards, the grocery bill. You have childcare. And by the time you want to make a financial decision, most of your money has already been claimed to somebody else. So how do I break that cycle? It's habit, it's mindset, it's pay yourself first. When I'm looking at my income and my expenses every month, and I keep a budget for myself, okay? Money 101, keep a budget. If you don't know what's going on, you don't know what to do. So what is the income that's coming in? And how I do this, I don't have my sheet over here in this room. It's over in my office room. But how I do this is I write a T chart out, okay? Just a simple T chart. That's all you got to do, whether it's on a piece of paper or put it into an Excel file. But I have the T chart, and on the left-hand side, it's my income. All forms of income, my active income, passive income. It could be checks that you get from bonuses at work, whatever it is. So income is on the left-hand side. And then on my right-hand side are all of my expenses. The first expense that I have underneath my expenses chart is pay myself first. So what I do when I get money that comes in, I take a sliver of it and I pay myself first. And it doesn't matter. You may be thinking to yourself, well, Hannah, there's really not even enough money left over at the end of the month for me even to pay myself first. You have to start somewhere. It's even in like your weight loss journey, okay? I'm a country music fan over here, okay? The big one right now, Jelly Roll, right? He lost all of that weight. And how he started, when I was watching some of his stories, like within Instagram, is he just chose one day that he's going to get up and he's just going to walk outside. I'm just going to take a walk around the block. Even though it's rainy outside, I don't want to do it today. I could just push it off until tomorrow. No, I'm going to get up and I'm just going to walk outside. In my money life, even if it's just $10 a week, maybe even if it's just $1 a week, when you start to just put yourself in the mindset to pay yourself first, no matter how large or how small it is, it's your number. You can't compare your journey to anybody else's journey. So even if it is just like $1 a week or $1 a day, $1 a day equals $7 a week. That $7 a week is going to start to increase when you start to put yourself in the mindset of treating you as your number one asset and to continue to pay yourself first. And if you aren't in this world of the infinite banking concept quite yet, you could use a savings account. You could use another segregated checking account. Don't just keep all the money inside of your main checking account of where you get paid at. Have another dedicated account. And I literally have this, like on my mobile banking app, I have a checking account that I nicknamed Pay Myself First, because that's another way that I hold myself accountable to continue to pay myself first each and every month. So pay yourself first, whether it is into that separate bank account that you have at the bank that you do business with. And in my opinion, the pay yourself first, the good starting point to get into this realm of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept, that pay yourself first money should be the premiums that you're depositing inside of your policy. So pay yourself first is number one. Okay. So your dollar, you got to have it be paid to you before you go and pay everybody else. Treat yourself as your number one asset. Now, if you are new here to the show, hi, welcome. I have 2 shows that happen every week, the Thursday morning show, and then the Money Multiplier podcast goes live wherever you stream your podcast, and even on YouTube. That launches every Tuesday. But what do I mean by the infinite banking concept? Let's just break it down for a quick second. What I'm doing is, instead of me storing my wealth inside of the commercial bank, I'm storing my wealth inside of my whole life insurance policy. And a whole life insurance policy, what does whole life have anything to do with me building my wealth? Well, if a whole life policy is designed correctly, there is immediate cash value that you have access to inside of that policy. So the policy has to be designed specifically for high immediate cash value. So in my mind, when I'm thinking about my policies, even to this day, I still think about my policies as a glorified savings vehicle. Is it a savings vehicle? I guess, yeah, you could kind of compare it to one, but logistically, it's a life insurance contract. It's a whole life insurance contract. And those premiums that are putting into the policy, that premium, I think about it as my premium deposit. And the reason I think about it that way is because when my premium deposit goes inside of this policy, immediately, my definition of immediately is within 30 days, there's a cash value that I have access to that I could take out that cash value if I needed it. And there's a lot of other benefits, right? Let's just go through the quick bullet points, and we'll do another episode spending more time on it. But hey, it's tax-free growth. It's a protected asset. Nobody can come after the money besides me, the policy owner, and the government's out of my hair. It's tax-free growth of what's happening inside of this system and inside of this policy. So I want to start to pay myself first. Pay myself first. Me taking a sliver of my money, setting it to the side, pay myself first. And if you want to add that extra step of where should the money be stored at, well, the money should be stored inside of that whole life policy designed for high immediate cash value, or what we like to call this infinite banking concept. Now, if you want to go deeper into this, read this black book here, Becoming Your Own Banker. It's by a gentleman, R. Nelson Nash. So Becoming Your Own Banker will get deeper into the weeds. And as my ADD brain is going off right now, maybe what we should do is we should even do like a book review or a book study. Tell me if y'all would like that, going through the chapters within Nelson's book and like really breaking it down. I can give you my thoughts, because even myself, like with Pops bringing this concept around my family when I was 8 years old, I still reread this book at least one time every single year. I try to complete it 2 times, but sometimes I don't do it 2 times, but I make sure that I at least reread it 1 time every year. Because when you go back and you just study the material, you're at a different place in your life. You're in a different mindset. And so I pick up on things that maybe didn't resonate with me 3 years ago, but does resonate with me now. So that's why I personally go back and continue to reread it. All right, that's money habit number 1 that we got to break. You got to start paying yourself first. Money habit number 2, you looking at the cost of the purchase, or I should say, you looking at the monthly payment of a purchase rather than looking at the total cost of what it's actually costing you to buy the purchase. Okay, here's what I mean. If I am going to go buy myself a new car, most of the time what we're trained to ask is, hey, can I afford this new payment of $442 a month? Can I afford that? Instead, we do not ask the question of what is it really going to be costing me over the next 7 years to have this auto loan. And this is where it kind of gets into the topic of the volume of interest that we're sending out the door to other people. See, we're not taught the different interest forms as well, like simple interest, amortized interest, compounding interest. We're just not taught how each of them differs and what they mean. So if and let's even do this. Let me bring up a loan calculator here. Let me share my screen. Share, and then we're going to add to stage. Beautiful. Okay. This is the loan calculator that I personally love to use. If you go to bankrate.com, they have this loan calculator on there, and it will break you down the true cost of what it's costing you to buy the purchase. All right. In this example, let's use a car. I also use this for my IBC vets. I will use this within my policies. So if I'm going to go buy myself a car or whatever it is, and I'm going to be an honest banker, pay myself back, charge myself with interest, I will come here to this loan calculator and I will calculate what should my monthly payment be back to my policy, back to my banking system. So let's break this down. Let's say that I'm going to go buy myself a $30,000 car. And this loan is going to take me, let's just say it's 6 years that's going to take me to pay it off. And let's say that I want to charge myself a 6% interest rate. Now, I'll tell you, what I do in my life is I charge myself a 10% interest rate if I'm borrowing from my policy, my bank. And number one, I just like the easy round numbers on it. But number two, when I treat my money with respect, my dollars are going to flow and grow to where it's respected to. So the more interest that I just pay back to myself, it's just going to mean more money back inside of my pockets anyways. And then now I have more opportunities. I have a pool of capital there. So if something comes up, whether it's a debt, an expense, emergency, or an investment opportunity, I have the capital there that I could go and deploy and do something with. All right, loan calculator, 30 grand is our loan amount, 6 years at a 6% interest rate. Let's calculate this. So what this is telling me is my monthly payment's going to be $497.19 a month. Total loan amount is $30,000, yet the interest that I've paid is $57.97. So the true total cost of this is $35,797. A lot of the times, again, what I'm saying is the money habits that y'all are just doing and accustomed to thinking is instead of looking at the total cost of what this is actually costing me, we're only looking at the monthly payment and can I afford this monthly payment? But now you may be thinking to yourself, but Hannah, I don't have the 30 grand just laying around to go buy the car outright. I need to go outsource some of this financing. And I get it. And that's okay. In these early years, as you're building your wealth and building the capital, you may have to go finance things within your life. But what are you doing to shift that control from the banker back to you? Back to bullet point number one, are you paying yourself first? Are you making strides to have that pool of capital accumulated somewhere so you don't have to continue to rely on banks and other financial institutions? So it'll even get down into the schedule here, right? Okay, so look here. This is what I mean of how much it's costing us. Your payment over the year, okay, it's starting here in July, or excuse me, of August of 26. So that's why it's the funky little number there. But over the course of the year, you're sending them $5,900 for the car. But look here at the principal. Here's how much went to the principal, and here's how much went to the interest. It's the interest section that's killing us. It's not the rate. We all want to get hung up in rate. Oh, I have the cheapest interest rate. This is a great interest rate on my mortgage or my car loan. And that's fine, but it's not the rate of that interest. It's the volume of the interest because of this amortized schedule of how we're being charged the loan interest. You see what I'm saying? And not to, let's even just talk about this for a second. Who controls the transaction? Is it you or somebody else? When I borrow from my policy, my bank, if something happens and I just can't make my $497 payment to myself that month, it's okay, because Hannah's in debt to Hannah. I'm not going to call myself up over the phone saying, hey girl, you didn't pay your monthly payment this month. What's going on? Right? Because there could be something that happens in life. I remember not too long ago, well, now that I'm thinking about it, it was a little while ago now, because I moved into the condo in 2023. This had to have been in 2020. 6 years ago now. That's crazy. Okay. Realizing how time flies. But when I was living at the other house, when I just moved to Florida, there was a time where my refrigerator and my microwave went out in the same week. And I thought to myself, oh, we're going to have to go and buy a new refrigerator and buy a new microwave, because yo girl still got to eat and keep her food cold. So it just wasn't feasible at that time for me to pay this monthly payment back to myself for that month. But it's okay, because I'm in debt to myself rather than somebody else who can come and tow the car off of my driveway, continue to tack on interest or penalty payments because I didn't pay my payment on time to them. I'm in control of the transaction, where if I were to take that other loan, they're in control of the transaction, and they don't care what's going on in my life. They don't care that my microwave and refrigerator went out. They don't care if I have a death in the family and I just need to take some time off just to get my mindset right and back in the good operating mode. So this is the freedom of you being your own banker, is that you're in control of these transactions. Now, given it's kind of bittersweet, I guess, for lack of better words, because you are in control here. So the only one who can screw up your banking system is you and how you use the system. And who do you know better than you? But a lot of y'all can't remain disciplined. We have I call it the drive-through mentality, or the microwave mentality, or even the shiny object mentality, where we kind of go off on these little splits in the road, and we're not staying focused on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to get a little uncomfortable so then you can continue to grow within your money life. But this is really just all up to you and how you're using the system. So we got to look at the total volume of the interest and how much of this interest is actually going out to other people. So you can kind of see why banks are making a whole lot of wealth, is because they're collecting all this interest payments off of us. So if I just start to shift the control back to me, and I am the one who gets to collect this interest payment now, I'm getting myself into a better financial position. See? All right. That's number 2. Misty and Fern are coming in saying they would love a book review. All right. I got you, ladies. That'll be fun. All right. That'll be fun. All right. Money habit number 3 that we got to break. Saving money in places that don't create flexibility. AKA, how many of us are putting money inside of a 401k, an IRA, or qualified account? A lot of you are. And why do we do that? Well, I do that because I'm saving up for the retirement years. There's going to be a time where I'm no longer working and I want to live off of this money. And I'm not like anti 401k and anti IRA and the mindset behind it. I think the mindset is very good because back to bullet point number one, you are treating yourself as your number one asset. You are paying yourself so that in the future you can use the monies. So I like the mindset there, but we're not really taught the, what's the right word? The mechanics, if you will, of those types of accounts and how you're locking up your money. So let's get into this just principle, okay? The basic understanding of money. Money is nothing more than just a means of exchange. That's all that money is. Money is nothing more than just a means of exchange. So what I mean is money equals food, food equals money. Would you agree? Money equals car, car equals money. Money equals house, house equals money. Money is nothing more than just a means of exchange. And I'm going to ask you the question of, is our money and our dollars worth more today or in the future? They're worth more today. And if you ever forget about that, think about how many candy bars you could buy 10 years ago for $1 and how many you can buy today for $1. So money is always going to be worth more today than what it is in the future, because thank our lovely Federal Reserve System getting off the gold standard, there's no tie to our dollars and inflation and yada, yada, yada. But let's not go down that negative rabbit hole. So our money is always worth more today than what it is in the future. And a lot of us who are putting dollars into retirement accounts, you could probably be using that money today. You have debt. You have payment. You have vacations you want to take. I hate to break it to you, but time is the only resource that we can't get back. And you taking vacations with your 8-year-old children at 35 years old is different than taking a vacation with your 28-year-old kid and now you're 75 years old. You see what I'm saying? You need to enjoy the time within your life. And who says that retirement has to be an age? That's a whole other thing in a lie that we've been fed, in my opinion. Why does retirement have to be an age? Why can't it just be a number? Why do I have to wait until 65 just to enjoy and live my life? I don't want to do that. Time is the only resource I can't get back. So why don't I just take my time and do the things that I want to do? So a lot of us that are putting dollars inside of these retirement accounts, we're taught and we think we're doing the right thing. You max out the retirement. You're putting money away. You don't touch it. But as I'm saying, life happens. You have car repairs. You have medical expenses, medical bills. Maybe there's some business opportunities. Maybe you have to help your aging parents right now or your kids. Maybe there's an unexpected layoff. And so the problem with y'all is not saving the money. It's where you're storing and saving that money at. And a lot of the times those retirement accounts, they don't have flexibility. You got to jump through the hoops. You got to tell them why you want the money. And then at that time, once you tell them why you want the money, now they're going to maybe penalize you on it. If you're under an age of 59 and a half, they're going to tax you on the money. They're even going to limit you to how much money you can even access, even if you do take out a loan from your 401k. So where are you storing the money at? And does it allow you to have flexibility to use your money when you want, how you want? So again, this is why I like whole life insurance. There's no limitations to what I can use the money for. Nobody's asking me what I'm using the money for. I guess just to reiterate that thought. Nobody's asking me what I'm using the money for. The insurance company is not asking me when I'm going to pay the money back, how I'm going to pay it back, because at the end of the day, cash value in a whole life policy is nothing more than a prepayment of the death benefit. We are just using the death benefit early and while we're living. That's all we're doing. So that's why the insurance company really doesn't care what we're using the cash values for, because they know at the end of it, they are contractually obligated to pay out my beneficiaries that death benefit money. By the way, the death benefit money is lump sum tax free. But what they'll do is, if I never, ever, and I'm saying not to do this, do not do this, but in a worst case scenario, if I never, ever pay myself back into this system, they will just subtract the cash values loans that I've taken out from my death benefit. So if I have a death benefit of $100,000 and I've taken out 50,000 from the policy to use during my lifetime, well, at the end of it, if I never pay it back, the insurance company will take the 100 of death benefit, subtract the 50,000 that they've already given me, and then that remaining 50, that's what's going to get paid out lump sum tax free to my beneficiaries. And I'm telling you all this right now, your need for financing cash in your lifetime is far greater than the need for the death benefit. So I'm going to use my cash values today, and then the cherry on top of the cake is there's always going to be a permanent death benefit there, because it's not an if it happens, it's a when it happens, then that money's going to get paid out to my family. How I think about this is I'm going to use my cash values today. I'm going to continue to finance and buy the things that I'm already buying in life using this system. And I'm using this system to buy the investments, because that's really ownership and control, is getting yourself into a point where you're putting your money, your little green men, to work for you rather than you going out and working for it. So come the time that my graduation day, aka my death day, happens, then I'm leaving my family, whoever my beneficiaries are, because your beneficiaries can change, just FYI. Beneficiaries can always get updated on a whole life contract. But at that time, then I'm leaving my beneficiaries all of the cash flowing assets that I've bought in with my policies, even the assets of the houses, the cars, the boats, the ATVs, airplanes, whatever it is, and the death benefit lump sum tax free. So I'm leaving them all of that. And not to even mention, now here's where my brain wants to go, is having wills and testaments and meeting with the state attorneys and going through asset protection. Because if you don't plan for that time, like I was even talking to somebody this week and she was like, I don't like to think about it, but we are in that mindset where we're putting stuff together, because if something were to happen to me or my husband, they don't have children. If something were to happen to me and my husband, she's 34, he's 38, I want to make sure that our assets are protected and the government or attorneys are not coming in and sucking away the wealth because we failed to plan. A failure to plan is a plan to fail, my friends. So money habit number 3 that we have to break, that we think we're doing good at, is saving money in places that don't create the flexibility, using your money when you want it. So again, to ask you the questions, are dollars worth more today or in the future? They're worth more today. And our taxes going to go up, or are they going to go down? They're going to continue to go up. And if they don't go up, aren't we taxed on more crap all the time? And then when you go and pay tax on your money, do you want to pay tax on the small amount, the seed, or the large amount, your harvest? I want to pay tax on the seed. And I agree with all 3 of those answers, but y'all are totally violating them by putting money inside of those qualified accounts, because you're giving up your good dollars today to get paid back with non-guaranteed weaker dollars in the future. And then you're just kicking the can down the street on having to pay the tax on that money. But then, what your financial advisor says, they say, well, it's okay to take the tax deferment now, because in the future, you're not going to be making as much money. And so thus, you're not going to be paying as much tax because you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. It's just such backwards thinking. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, or my thinking, but I don't want to be making less money in the future. I want to be making the same amount of monies, if not more, within the future. Because let's talk about the reality. Cost of living is going to keep on increasing. Inflation is going to continue to wither away our money. So if I'm not making the same amount of money, hopefully I'm making more monies within the future. So that mindset just doesn't even make sense to me. Anyways, it's totally backwards thinking. So again, I just want to use my good dollars today and then pay them back, pay the insurance company back with weaker dollars in the future. So where are you currently storing and saving your money at? All right, number 4, thinking that more investing is the answer. I had a call last week with somebody who is sending over $18,000 a month just to the credit card people. $18,000 a month. And I asked her, I said, hey, on that $18,000 a month that you're sending out, how much of that is just going to the interest alone? She says, well, I calculated it. It's about $5,000 to $6,000 a month just going to the interest. But in that same breath, she turns around and says, but I'm doing good for myself because what I'm also doing is I'm allocating money to my Charles Schwab account, and my Charles Schwab account is producing me $1,000 each and every month. What? Y'all, have that math make sense for a second. You are putting money into your Charles Schwab account that's getting you $1,000 a month, yet you're sending $18 a month to the credit card company. It doesn't make any freaking sense. What I would rather do is I'd rather get the credit card people out of my life and then bridge the gap between the debt payoff to now wealth building. Imagine saving $18,000 a month versus getting us $1,000 a month. It doesn't make any sense. People think that, oh, I need to make a better investment. But often folks will have poor cash flow, no liquidity, too much debt, no emergency capital, no financial system. Y'all don't need another investment. You just need a better infrastructure and how you're using your money. A lot of y'all, if you just simply pivot and start to keep the money that you're already spending, you will get yourself into a total different financial picture than where you're at right now, simply by getting the bad debt, the bad creditors out of our life and keeping that money that you're already making. So no, investing is not the answer when you have so much dollars going out to other people. Let's go back to bullet point number 2 and the volume of the interest that we're sending out the door. In this example, she's sending $5,000 a month just in interest alone. So she's sending out 60 grand a year, yet she's making 12,000 a year from her Charles Schwab account. Make it make sense. All right. So my feedback or my opinion here is that we need to restructure the cash flow, start to have those monies coming back to us, get the bad debt out of our lives first, recapture that money, and then let's start talking about what I can use that money for with the investments that I want to go make. And yeah, I'm never going to tell y'all how to go make your money, how to invest the money. But sure, if you want to have some buddy conversations, I'll turn you on to what I'm doing, what's working out for me over here. I'm a real estate girl. It's just what I personally like. But no matter if you're into stock options or oil and gas, or you want to do storage units, or you want to own campgrounds. Honestly, owning a campground would be pretty cool. I've been thinking about that one too. But no matter what it is, that's your investment, right? But what you got to get control over first is your cash flow and the leakage of money that's going out to other people. So thinking investing is the answer? No, you got to start keeping the money that you're making. And yeah, you can use the whole life policy to pay off the debts. All right, that's where my family started. When we were still living in Kansas City back in 2008, Pops had his 5 chiropractic clinics, and he was in a crap load of debt. He had the clinics. He was a pilot. Well, still is a pilot, but he had his airplane. We had the condo on Lake of the Ozarks. Dad got a boat, a wave runner. He had the mortgage on the condo, and he just had all of this debt. And this is where he taught us kids. He goes, guys, you can be making great money, but it doesn't matter how much you make. It only matters how much you keep. Even though I could be making $1 million a year, who cares if I'm making $1 million if my overhead and my debt and the expenses is equivalent to $975,000? It doesn't matter how much you make. It only matters how much you keep. I would rather operate a business where I'm making $300,000 a year and my overhead is $100,000 versus making $1 million and my overhead is $975,000. How much are you keeping once you make the money? That's what's going to move the needle. But Pops, when he first learned about all of this back in 2008, that's where he started with this system, is he was using the policy to pay off the debts that he had. And those debts, why we use this system rather than just paying the debts outright, is because when you flow the money through the policy first, now those dollars are inside of the policy, continuing to earn you uninterrupted compounding interest, guaranteed, contractual, guaranteed, uninterrupted compounding. So instead of me just taking money and withdrawing it from my checking account and paying cash for the debt, that money had to come from somewhere. That money was sitting down at the bank inside of your pocket, earning you some form of interest. And when you go and just withdraw the money and give it to the debt people, it's gone. You have to go work for it, earn it somehow to get that money back inside of your pocket, making you interest again. So that's why he just added the one additional step of where does that money go first? And then I'll take it out to go pay the debt people. So I'm satisfying them. They're getting their payments. They're getting paid off. But at the same time, my money never left my policy and I'm still earning a guaranteed interest on that money forever and ever. Opportunity costs. We should do a whole episode on that too. Opportunity costs. Anyways, does that make sense? Does that make sense what I'm saying? All right. And I don't mean this to nag on y'all or to get negative on y'all. I just really want to spread the truth of what you're doing, because financial literacy, they just don't teach us this. Okay. I graduated high school in 2017. They didn't even teach us how to write checks, balance checkbook, nothing like that. You know what I was thinking actually this morning as I was getting ready to? Even just like the basic principles of like, how do we go buy a car? What's the difference here? Should I save up all my money and go buy the car with cash? Should I take a loan? Should I lease the car? Even for like us kids, they don't even teach us those basics. And everybody has a car at some point in their life. I guess unless you live in the city somewhere, right? And you're driving around on the subway stations. But even like that, it's just not mainstream topic, and financial literacy is just not taught. And I think it really just comes because as a society, I think they think that the parents should be teaching the kids this stuff. But how can the parents be teaching the kids this stuff if the parents don't even know themselves? And even like the mentality, like with our parents, like with my mama and my dad, who are about to get into their 60s now, the whole mentality back then may have worked for them, because back then people were living on a one income household, right? Daddy was going to work, mama was home with the kids, and it worked. But that just doesn't work anymore. So we got to shift with the times. What are we doing to get ourselves into this better position? Anyways, into my rant. Dave is coming in saying money habits. Hey, let's talk about this real quick. Fern is saying 401k because of company match. Let's talk about company match for a second. You know, there are some great companies out there that will match a crap load on dollars that are being put inside of their 401k. But we got to go back to the principles. Is our dollar worth more today or in the future? It's worth more today. So if I go down to the grocery store and let's say that I buy myself a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk, and then I come home and I put the loaf of bread and gallon of milk into my freezer, and then I wait 5, 10, 15, 26 and a half years into the future until I'm age 59 and a half. I think I said 26. I think it's 36. Sorry, terrible mental math. 59 minus 26, 33 years into the future. 33 years into the future until I'm age 59 and a half. And then I open up the freezer and there's 2 loaves of bread and 2 gallons of milk. How much more fun and exciting is that second loaf of bread, second gallon of milk going to taste? I mean, it's still going to be freezer burnt, is it not? People will do things with their money that they would never do with things that money buys. You would never go out, buy yourself a house or a car, and then wait 33 years into the future to drive the car, move into the house. That would be stupid, right? Why do we do that with our money? Money's nothing more than just a means of exchange. So why do we do that with our money? Again, I do think it's a good habit to have a place where you're warehousing capital at, but for some reason we're just taught to go and hoard the money somewhere, and then when we reach the age of retirement to just start drawing down on that cash accumulation bucket that we've accumulated over this time, and then hopefully the money doesn't run out. I'm more focused on my cash flow. How can I go and get myself to a position where I got cash flow coming in rather than withdrawing and draining this cash accumulated account down? You see what I'm saying? It's just a different way of thinking. But yeah, most of the time people love it. They're like, especially when I'm teaching on this live, like at live events, they'll say, but Hannah, I'm the special snowflake and I get a match in my retirement account. Okay, let's go with that theory. You would never go out and put and buy something and then wait until age 59 and a half just to use the product, the service, whatever it is. So why are we doing that with our money? Just a 180 way of how we think. All right, lastly, here's number 5. Confusing high income with financial freedom. It kind of goes into what I was saying a little bit earlier, where, hey, even though I could be making $1 million a year, if my overhead is $975, who cares how much I'm truly making? I think this kind of also has to come with our mindset, and really Parkinson's law is what I call it. When I've been learning about this with Pops and even Nelson Nash, Parkinson's law, once was a luxury, is now a necessity. So when we start to earn more, a lot of the times we want to, what's the right word? We want to upgrade. Thank you, Hannah. We want to upgrade the car, the house. We want to upgrade the trips that we're taking. And because once was a luxury is now a necessity. I mean, even myself, I have to check myself sometimes. Hannah, you don't need to buy a $450 first class airline ticket to fly for an hour and a half when coach tickets are $100. Where do you want to spend your money at? Could you afford it? Yeah, but where do you really want to go and put your money at? Do you want to really go and spend it on that hour and a half adventure and experience? Or would you rather save that money and go do something else with it? I mean, you just got to continue to check yourself when you do start to experience the lavish luxury things within life. And once you experience that luxury, you think it's a necessity now for yourself. So when you start to make more money, you'll start to kind of notice that your expenses gradually rise. your lifestyle is expanding, your obligations that you're committing to are starting to increase. And truthfully, then your stress starts to even multiply by that, because then you're like, okay, now instead of my expenses being $8,000 a month to raise my family, now it's up to $15,000 a month. So I got to make sure I'm continuing to make this money that's coming in to pay for that $15,000 a month just on living expenses. So the stress just starts to multiply there too. And I've even gone through this stuff, like with some of the expenses that I'll have that I had to go back and decrease and limit on. It's like, girl, you don't need this. You ain't even using this. Let's go in here and let's just cancel some stuff out because you're not using it. Why are you paying for crap that you're not even using right now? I want to keep the money that I'm making. So with these 5 habits, you kind of see how it all kind of really gets deeper into just mindset. How I was saying at the beginning of the episode, 70% about your money life is really just how you think. And the 30% is how you move, how you behave, how you're acting, and the habits that you have for yourself. So if you want to get deeper into these conversations, you don't know where to start. I'm here, y'all. I'm here. You can always schedule a call with me, a strategy call. I'm here. We can walk through stuff. But I would just encourage y'all, if you're not going to do this for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody is going to care more about your financial life than what you do. So you got to start taking that control. You got to spend the time. There is time that you can be spending on this stuff. I see you every night. I see you every night playing your video games, watching your favorite show, going and sitting outside, having a beer on the porch at nighttime, just listening to music. You have the time. You're just not making it a priority, and you're not making the time for it. Where I would start first is just hone in, understand your cash flow, create that T chart, right? Your income and your expenses. I use still to this day the app Rocket Money. I really encourage that for a lot of families, especially my millennials and Gen Zs. I like Rocket Money because of the fact that it tracks things automatically. But I do also have my separate spreadsheet of where I keep everything at as well. So I like the Rocket Money app because if I'm ever feeling like anxious and I just haven't done my money look over from the past month, then I'll log into that Rocket Money app and it'll just tell me right there because it's been tracking everything automatically. But then I'll also go in and do a deep dive into the spreadsheets that I have every single month. Because, hey, what I do over here, if this is helpful, the first Wednesday of the month, I set aside 9 to noon. 9 to 12, you cannot get a hold of me because I am looking over my financials and I'm doing a deep dive on my bank accounts, the credit card statements, the investments, and getting clear on where I'm at. Because if I know what's going on, then I know what to do. So I believe in y'all. If y'all need, I do have the spreadsheet, I call it the net worth statement. Let me link y'all to a recent podcast episode that I did on this. And I know I titled this episode, How to Continue to Expand Your Policies Without Overextending Yourself. So that was the whole purpose really behind this video. I'm putting it in the comments for y'all. That was the whole purpose behind it, is how do I continue to expand my banking system without overextending? But how I do that is going through my sheet, my spreadsheet. So if you want that spreadsheet, you can see there, I walk through exactly my scenario and I can link you to that spreadsheet if y'all need the support. So just reach out, send me an email, Hannah, spelled the same ways forwards and backwards, hannah@themoneymultiplier.com, and I'll send you the spreadsheet there that we created. And quick little story, how the spreadsheet was literally created was taking dad's poster board. Okay, dad is still a very pen and paper type of person. So we took the poster board and we just put it into a digital format. And that's what I use. So reach out to me if you want to have those conversations. And Dave is saying, my Starbucks habit has increased. The Rocket Money app showed me and making adjustments to that for sure. No, good, my man. Because even if it's just like $5 a week that you're saving for yourself, it can really move the needle on the monies that you're keeping. So thank you for being here for another episode. I will be here next week before I head down to Mexico. Your girl's doing a TED Talk. So I'm spending time this weekend doing my TED Talk prep. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. And hopefully we'll add a lot of value to people, get them to start thinking differently about their money, about their life, because life is going to keep on rolling down the hill. Don't wait until 65 to enjoy your life, my friends. Keep on moving. Create the life right now. The journey is the destination, okay? I know we can get caught up in going, reaching the goals that we're trying to accomplish, which is good. We should have those goals and something that we're working towards, but you got to stop and enjoy the journey and smell the roses along the way, because this time you're just never going to get this time back, because really the only reality is right now, this present moment that we have right now. So what are you doing with the time within your day? All right. Enjoy your day. Love y'all. I will see you on Tuesday for the podcast show, and then I'll meet you back here on Money Mornings with Hannah, 9 a.m. Eastern time next Thursday. Catch you then. Bye, my friends.